Hi parents. In this video I wanted to talk about some of the resources related to coronavirus and mental health for our parents. Um, your mental health is going to be crucial for the survival of your household. So it is very important to look after yourself. And it is such an odd time and a very stressful time. Um, the good thing is a lot of our regulatory bodies and associations have been very good at putting out resources. But when we are so busy and stressed out about what we would do, about our jobs and the changes in the life routines, sometimes we don't even think about looking up the information even though it's available. So I'll go over them quickly, and then at least you know what to expect when you go and visit those web pages. So I'll go over the first resource, which is by the Canadian Psychological Association, and it talks about some advice about working from home. So some of the tips that they recommended is to, if possible, obviously, to have dedicated workspace, kind of to set your mindset. I go here, I work. To have the appropriate technology, again, if possible, which would enable you to do your job, and then comfort and quiet. So to set it up such that as much as possible, again, you're able to concentrate and be productive. Setting a schedule and routine is always helpful, and having it as consistent as you can also kind of helps with reducing the stress as to how you're going to manage your day. It's crucial to still keep sort of that life-work balance, because there isn't that physical boundary anymore. Your work is at home, and because there's a lot of changes, there's a lot of figuring out and planning to do, it is quite easy to get sucked into more work hours. So try and as much as you can have that boundary, so your work life is not taking over. Kind of taking breaks, and so you would have a little bit of a rest. Otherwise, your brain is on override the whole time. And then being flexible. So a lot of us, they don't have necessarily access to someone who they can have their children look after. So it is kind of trying to juggle childcare and working at the same time. So be working, and then your child needs something, and then you're interrupting your work, and so on. So that sort of old style of expecting a 9 to 5 schedule may not necessarily, it might be too rigid in that sort of context. So the idea is, while we're trying our best to keep the work hours the same, so we're not working the whole time, we're also trying to be flexible so that we can accommodate between the demands of work life and home life. And then kind of clarify employers' expectations. Don't live sort of in the dark, and set the expectations, because you might be setting them also too high, or you might be thinking about an expectation that is not really expected of you. So it's very good to have these clarifications done, so you're not stressed out about what exactly you need to be doing. Because of that being physically isolated, the other recommendation is to figure out a way where you can communicate with your colleagues or the regular players that you use to deal with on a day-to-day basis at work. because you still need their support. You still need that collaboration, interaction. That sort of multidisciplinary need is not gone just because we are working now from home. Still needed. It's just now figuring out how you're going to um, get access to that while you're at home. And then they also give information about how to try and keep your children engaged or entertained during um, sort of your work hours. So there's that you can kind of review that as well. Next, I want to go to the other, where am I here? Resource that we have. This is why you should not be opening too many web pages. Okay, so the next one is coping with stress. So as you can see, it looks like your need to purchase. No, it's $0. So you can actually just download it, and it doesn't cost anything. And again, it talks about how you recognize your own signs of stress. So you look at what kind of behavior is going on. So if you're now experiencing a significant change in your energy, increase in your alcohol, tobacco use, or use of illegal drugs, there's irritability. So you kind of go over kind of the red flags that are suggestive of maybe you're experiencing high levels of stress, and you might need to pay more attention to yourself. It's not just behavior. Your body will also manifest some of the signs that suggest that you might be experiencing a significant amount of stress. So these are some of the physical signs you might be experiencing, and then how your emotions change too. So these are kind of the different feelings over here that someone might be experiencing during a time where they're getting really stressed. And then there are some ideas here as to how to kind of help prevent that from happening or reduce the risk of that. So how to keep your physical health, so getting enough rest, sleep, physical exercise, healthy eating, trying to get some time where you can relax, or you can kind of have alternating between your highly demanding tasks or stressful tasks, making sure if you're doing those that you're having some time to relax and do something that is fun. And then thankfully, despite the fact that we're physically isolated from one another, but technology can help people now connect a little bit better. So seek out those supports that you have around you, and seek to get some help from your friends and loved ones. So I think the biggest thing is paying attention to what your body and your emotions are telling you. So you could review that as well, because this handout is based out of the US, so a lot of their mental health support communication is not relevant to Canada, but ELS had sent few links on the Facebook page that went out, that has links to mental health supports and so on. So this is our second resource. And then helping children to cope with changes. So this is another good one, I think, for parents to review. So it goes over what the parents can do, and it isn't a lot of things that you have to purchase and prepare and so on. There's simple things. They're not necessarily easy, but definitely within reach while you're at home. So being a role model. So as I said, if you're looking after yourself and if you're able to manage your own stress, just by doing that without preaching and words and buying sensory toys and things like that. That I'm not saying it's a magic bullet. What I'm saying is it gives the child a role model of how we can regulate our emotions and how to stay in check. Um, you are you are their we call it their surrogate brain. You're the one helping them figure out how to navigate times that no one knows how to go through, especially little kids. So be aware of how you're talking and presenting information about COVID-19. Um, so you could talk about it in a way that can help your child reduce any sort of stress or fear. So you could remind your child that your family is healthy, that you're going to do everything within your power to keep loved ones safe and well. So especially if you see that your child has expressed in their own way fear, concerns about um, the virus. Explaining social distancing. So they may not understand sort of the rationale behind why we have to stay away from loved ones, school, etc. But I did add that social story resource, which is very good. It's a very good way of introducing a hard concept like such social distancing to kids. And then some of the relaxation techniques like deep breathing. So take a deep breath, blow candle. We find a lot of kids respond to that very well. It helps them to calm down. And also focusing on the positive, so sort of that gratitude spirit is also contagious in a good way. Um, so it helps just shift the mindset from all the negative things to also recognizing the positive things that are within hand. And then establishing a daily routine. It just helps with the predictability. A lot of the kids need that sense of security, which they find in having a structure and routine and predictability. And then some of the identify projects that might help others. So whether it's writing letters or, I've seen a lot of people draw on the side using their chalk. They would have the kids come and they would draw like I don't know, a heart, and they would say, I love healthcare workers, or they would have a craft and they would have it stuck to their window. So when you're going for a walk, you could see them again. So it shifts the focus from how much loss you're experiencing to what I can contribute. There's something I still have that I can contribute and help others with. Um, so, I mean, it goes. There are other things that they kind of talk to, but I want to also go back to stay connected to the school. I just wanted to reinforce that just because we are not able to come for home visits and so on, and the school is closed, we are still working. So you could reach us. You can talk to us if you're experiencing stress or like extreme financial difficulties and so on, and then we can try and direct you to the appropriate resource. And then if you're needing resource team, whether it's occupational therapy, speech, and physio, we're all still working. You can approach us with questions and so on. Um, and the best way is either to reach through the teachers, check-ins when they contact you, or emails. That would be at this point in time the most consistent and reliable way of getting hold of us. So you can read the rest of it at your own leisure, but I just wanted to highlight some of those features and recommendations. And as I mentioned, I did talk about the social story. on coronavirus, and there's the video for it and the link as to where you can download it and use it, and then also hand washing steps for the kids. So I hope you find these resources helpful. If you have any other questions related to sort of that category, please reach out to us and we'll try our best to help you find the right resource there. Thanks again. Bye.